So, are you happy? It should be an easy question to answer, right? It should be black or white, yes or no, happy or not. But many factors go into our happiness, and those factors vary from person to person, place to place, moment to moment, and from generation to generation. Our society now contains elements that weren't important to or weren't even experienced by the people of the past. But do those extra elements make it harder for Gen Z to be happy? And if so, how can we cheer up? To really understand happiness, we first have to ask, how do we know that we're happy? For me, my happiness stems from being with people I love, doing something I love. So right now, in this moment, I'm happy. I'm happy when I'm running, when I'm with my friends and family, when I'm listening to music, and when I'm eating mac and cheese. We don't really have any control over when we feel happy or what makes us happy. You can't make yourself feel anything. It's just what you feel. Happiness exists in the details, and those details are different for every single person and can vary from moment to moment. For example, I could be eating mac and cheese but feeling happy because the noodles are just too soggy. I could be running but feeling happy because, wow, my knee aches and it's a Friday and I'd so much rather be inside with my friends instead. We can't control the weather outside or the sogginess of our noodles. And those little curveballs that life throws at us can snatch away the happiness we'd be feeling otherwise. And unfortunately, our generation gets thrown a lot of interesting curveballs. Today, especially for many of us in the Silicon Valley, life is simpler. We no longer have to grab our bow and arrow and hunt down our next meal, or worry if our crops are going to get us through the winter. We in Gen Z don't have to fabricate our own houses or chop firewood to keep ourselves warm. Nope, all it takes for us is to drive through an In-N-Out on the way back to our 3-bedroom, 3-and-a-bath homes, and ask Alexa to turn on the heat. So, if our basics are all taken care of by our advanced society, why aren't we all happy? As I mentioned earlier, happiness exists in the details. There are two ways to derive happiness, intrinsically and extrinsically. According to the Wiley Encyclopedia of Management, intrinsic motivation is the motivation to do something for the sake of the task, for the sheer enjoyment of the task. Extrinsic motivation is the motivation to do something to meet an externally imposed constraint or fulfill some external goal. To simplify, I have an intrinsic motivation to watch Friends or make waffles because I love to. But I have an extrinsic motivation to do the AP Yo's history reading responses because I have to get them done for a grade, an externally imposed constraint. We do things we are intrinsically motivated to do because we love them, because they make us happy. On the flip side, we do things we're extrinsically motivated to do because we feel like we have to, because they make other people happy, not us. My generation has more extrinsic motivations than any other. We technically have things easier in terms of surviving and thriving in our more technologically advanced society. As a result, older generations have set higher expectations for us in other areas of our lives, such as education and in our life goals. This is especially true in the Silicon Valley, where at Mountain View High last spring semester, 13.8% of students earned unweighted 4.0s, probably winning a crazy amount of AP and honors classes. Students tear themselves apart in order to fit into the mold of success here. We in Gen Z have to be well-rounded with high grades, hours and hours of volunteer service, throw in a couple varsity sports, language fluencies, and maestro-level instrument playing, and maybe we'll get into the college of our dreams. And once we're there, we continue to work hard, pushing ourselves down a stressful road that often does not even provide to us the easy, perfect, happy lives that older generations have envisioned for us. We follow this road in professions that we are not passionate about, with students who live and breathe for the fine arts, throwing away that passion to pursue a more marketable skill. It feels like we are being forced down this path that society has provided for us. Our society as a whole is an extrinsic motivator for a predetermined definition of success. And happiness becomes an unattainable concept because when you're being forced to do something, it feels impossible to be happy now or in the future. But Gen Z also sets expectations for itself. For example, it's expected for every teen to have Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat for starters, but also maybe Twitter, Reddit, communication apps, WeChat, staying up to date on up-and-coming platforms, a YouTube channel, a Google+, maybe even a LinkedIn if you're ambitious. But why are we even on social media? I understand the connectivity aspect of it. I have family in Paris, Shanghai, and Germany, and I wouldn't have insight into their daily lives without it. I also totally confessed tagging my friends in countless memes and videos of adorable cats. But at a certain point, can sharing become a negative thing? Our friends and the people at school can all see the pictures we post online and the embarrassing snaps we send. With the rise of filters in Photoshop, social media has become sort of twisted. In a perfect world, we could take one picture of something we're enjoying, share it with our supportive chums on the internet, and receive loads of positive feedback without any fear of judgment. But today, multiple pics are taken to make sure everybody looks cute and got their good side. The perfect pic is chosen and probably in a group chat and is edited and cropped a bit so that all our friends on the internet can see the perfect people we want them to see, the perfect you and the perfect me. Is this connectivity? Or is it just another detail for Gen Z to worry about? Another extrinsic motivator to show everyone that we can, in fact, lead perfect lives, even if we're not happy doing it. And then we worry and stress over when we don't reach our usual amount of likes. Do they think I'm ugly? Is this annoying? Do they think I'm not cool? And so we post something even more impressive to earn back the love of our peers. This vicious, negative cycle perpetuates itself and fails to fulfill the promise that those likes, comments, and retweets will make Gen Z more happy. Even worse, things that we used to love and were extrinsically motivated to do becomes things that become driven by our desire to appear perfect. Personally, it's hard for me to feel happy today because there always feels like there's something else that I could be doing. Like right now, I could be studying for the SAT, or learning fluency facts, or figuring out how to conjugate le conditionnel passé. The sheer number of to-dos we have now in order to guarantee our happiness in the future is crazy. And because all the things we need to do now, we can't spend any of our valuable time doing things that actually bring us happiness. I used to love learning French and reading. And I will take 4 years of French and advanced honors courses in high school. But it won't be to further my knowledge of either subject. It'll be to make myself appear more attractive to universities. How wrong is that? By now, I've lost most of the love I once had for Francais or Rick Riordan. What did you used to love? Although it feels impossible, we can be happy. But it'll take a lot of mental work. Focus on what truly makes you happy. What brings you raw joy? Where if you think about that place, that activity, that thing, that person, you cannot help but smile. Recognize those things, but also recognize the things that bring you dread. I'm not saying that if high school makes you unhappy, drop out. Maybe try to find a way to actually enjoy school. Focus more on compromising instead of achieving a 5.0 GPA. Balance the advanced courses you have to take to fulfill whatever your goal in life is with a couple classes that you really, truly love. Take those courses so that you still have enough time to be happy, to have fun, to be a teen. According to a poll conducted by Bronnyware, a nurse in a terminal palliative care unit, one of the largest regrets of the dying was that they did not think that happiness was a choice. You pretend to be content because you're too afraid to explore. Ware's poll tells us to seize the moment, to toss aside the judgments of others. We should focus on the small good things and the big great things in our lives and live to pursue those moments that lift us up and make us smile. Do we want to look back on our lives 5, 10, 50 years from now and wish we'd lived differently? Maybe taken a regular course and had time for a day trip with our parents. Maybe turned off our Instagram notifications so that we could truly live in the moment. I know it's hard, but ignore the societal pressure to do more, do more, do more. Ignore the stream of reactions to your Facebook post. Ignore always trying to look, act, and be perfect. Better yet, ignore Snapchat. Let the streak die. A well-known way to keep practicing this do what makes you happy mindset is to imagine all the time in your life as an empty jar. Now, put several big rocks in your jar so that 4 or 5 fill up all the space. These rocks represent the most important things in your life. They represent your structure, the things that you should always keep near you. For example, your family, and your health are rocks. Now add pebbles to your jar. Pebbles are the smaller things that are still relatively important to us, like our friendships and our grades in school. Pebbles make our life even fuller, but sand completely fills our jar. Sand are the tiny, tiny details in our lives, things like social media, which honestly are mostly filler and really aren't that important. Again, your rocks and your pebbles are smaller things in life, so losing one of them wouldn't destroy you like losing a rock would. So when you kinda sort of fail a physics test or bomb a Spanish quiz or don't get over 200 likes on your Instagram post, hold on to the fact that you still have your friends, your family, your rocks and your pebbles, your solid sources of happiness. To stay happy on a daily basis, remember the bigger picture in your life, and that'll help you get over the loss of a grain of sand. Thank you.